Hello guys, I would do my best to be coherent. I'm not that well actually, um, and that's part of the reason why I've kind of retreated within myself and with my own little bubble right now, because I've got shit to deal with. I know there's a lot of that going around actually. A lot of people have shit to deal with, and it's a good thing. I have to say, it's horrible, it's painful, it's uncomfortable, it's tough, but it's a good thing because too many people don't face up to their own shit. We are all messed up, we are all damaged, and so many people try to suppress that, run away from it, ignore it, their dark side, their darkness, and that's not the way to go. And I do believe that being dishonest with oneself can only lead to one thing, and that is denial, outside as within. So without as within, and what I mean by that is the fake awake, the people who think they're awake, but actually they're not. They're not thinking for themselves, and they're not accepting the truth about themselves. They're not doing the necessary shadow work, as some people would call that, which consists of shining a light on your shadow, on your dark side. Acknowledging that, for one thing, and then not allowing that shadow and that damage, that pain body, as some would call it, intricately tied to the ego, not let that cloud your judgment when analyzing information and trying to get to truth. And so many people just don't do that, and I just don't understand why. Perhaps they're lazy, perhaps they're scared, but the irony is that when you do that, when you at least start to deal with it, I mean, first you acknowledge it, then you try and bear that in mind when you're doing your truth seeking, because otherwise you can have emotional reactions, and you can be easily manipulated emotionally. So that's something to be wary of. But once you start dealing with it as well, you try and deal with it, and as you make progress with that, you become stronger. And of course, it influences your judgment as you don't have so many emotional reactions. And that is part of dealing with it, actually, is identifying the emotional reactions due to this shadow, due to this dark side of yourself, that can be clouding your judgment. But I'm not saying to destroy it or to fight it or whatever, no, because it's part of you. It's part of who you are. But you need to shine a light and deal with it. That's part of what we're supposed to be doing, part of what we need to do. And so many so-called truthers, they just don't. I mean, the prime example, actually, the best, the most obvious, is the New Age movement, where they say basically not to give any of your attention or focus to the negative, which basically means that the negative can run rampant. And we all get that on an external level, but we don't seem to get that on the internal level. That is true also on the inside. It's not just ignoring the bad things that happen in the world, but also ignoring the bad within us, the dark side, the hurt, the despair, the fear. And it's not doing away with it, it's overcoming that. That's what strength and courage are all about, and that's how we build ourselves up and make ourselves more efficient and better people in this world. And it's so important, and so many people just do not seem to do that. And that's why it's a good thing that people are, having little shitstorms in their lives, because that kind of is trying to force them to face up to things. it's trying to force them, and that's a pity that it had to get to that. But it takes what it takes. It's all good in the end. um, but yeah, it's a painful process. It's not pleasant. I understand people don't want to do it, but it's only going to get worse if you don't. And that's basically on the macrocosm level. That's what we're getting at. Things are getting worse because we're not paying attention to the right things. We're not being aware of the right things. And if you want to look for truth without, start looking for it first within and owning up and being honest with yourself and acknowledging that truth. Because how are you ever going to accept the shitty truth outside if you can't accept your own shitty truth inside? And I say the truth about yourself, not my truth, your truth, new age crap, solipsistic mentality thing. No, I mean the truth about yourself, about your own damage, your own dark side. And, if you can't take responsibility for yourself, how the hell can we take responsibility for our world and be truly empowered? We can't. And I feel as if I'm repeating myself in a different way this time, because so many times I've told people that working on yourself is just so important. And I just think it's not a bad thing that I'm actually reiterating, because I can't say it enough how important it is, because people just are not doing it. And it's just starting to get, that's where you get these fake awake from. These truthers, these new agers, these solipsists, because they can't take responsibility. But how can you, I mean, I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. All I know is that it starts with yourself, and it starts by taking responsibility for your own pain body. You've got to acknowledge all the crap in you and start dealing with that. And so many people they can't seem to do that. They don't seem to want to. They haven't got the willpower to do it. And I think that's what it boils down to, is wanting to do it. Really wanting to do it. Wanting that it's intent that overcomes the fear, that makes you brave and strong. And by doing that work on yourself, you will become braver and stronger and a better person. You will. And that's it. It sounds so simple, and I know it's so hard at the same time. But I'm doing it. My friends are doing it. I have some of my friends who are doing it, and it's pretty, But at the same time, you think, oh, fucking hell, I'm making that effort. I'm trying so hard, and yet these people are running away from the real work. They're running away from the tough stuff, the hard, really difficult stuff. And you think, well, why the hell do I bother? But at the same time, it's not just for them. It's because it's what's right, and it's because that's just how, personally, that's how I am. I couldn't not try. And if I fail, well, at least I tried. But I won't fail, because you only fail when you give up, and I can never give up. So anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I am absolutely shattered. I feel like crap. Anyway, thanks for listening if you did, and I shall speak to you soon.